enlighten their students. So when you have such scholars, and they do it for free, they tutor you. You literally go to their homes. You sit in their homes. They treat you as a guest, and I've seen this, like I said, many, many times. They treat you like a guest. They bring you fruits and drinks, and you sit there eating sweets, and then they teach you that class. And they do it day after day after day, and you could spend years with this individuals learning from him, because it's not just about the book that you're studying. It's really about that bonding experience. It's about you taking this scholar as your mentor. You are his protege, he is your mentor. You're learning from the way he talks, the way he walks, the way he speaks, the way he addresses the class. His tone, his conduct, all these little details are a part of the learning experience, which is why the religious seminary, the Shia seminary in the Islamic religion is so fascinating. Which is why the studying in the seminary makes it gives you the chance to become so mature, even after a few years. You'll notice that if one of your relatives or someone you know, if he goes to the seminary and studies for a year or two, when they come back, when they return, they're so different. In a good way, of course. You'll notice that they've really matured, as opposed to them just going to university or college. Spending a couple of years in college doesn't really leave such a lasting impact on your personality. Yes, you learn a lot of things in 2 years. You have to do a lot of research. I'm not playing down academic institutions at all. I mean, I'm a product of both institutions, the academic, the so-called secular, as well as the religious seminaries. So I see each one completing one another. But the Islamic seminary is a phenomenal experience, because it really allows you to gain a sense of maturity by interacting with these great scholars on a personal level. Right? So, like I said, going back on what we're talking about here, this sort of arrangement is called a mashyakha. And the mashyakha is when you learn from your scholar, him being your mentor, and the scholars used to take the narrations, teach them to their students. They would feed them these narrations. It's not just a matter of me hearing someone whom I trust saying something, and therefore taking that narration and saying it elsewhere because I trust him and he's a reliable source. It's not about that. It's much, much deeper than that. So when we talk about al-kafi, and I'll leave it at that, we're not talking about someone transmitting or relating narrations from reliable sources. No. The Kafi is a product. The book known as Al-Kafi is a product. And here's something that's really important. I want you to keep this in your mind. Al-Kafi is a product of a series of mashyakhat, of a series of people, individuals, immersing themselves in learning the sciences of Islam by teaching under the tutelage of great scholars, and those scholars being taught under the tutelage of other scholars, and so on and so forth, until they get to the 400 fundamentals that we talked about in the beginning of the session. So, next time, if you ever feel the urge to discredit any of the traditions in Al-Kafi, you have to remember that we're not, there's no way you could discredit the Kafi by saying that this individual is unknown to me, for example. And that is one of the tools that's often misused, I should say, or abused in order to discredit certain narrations. They say this person is unidentified. He's an unidentified individual. He is unknown. He is what they call a majhul. And a person who is unidentified is automatically considered unreliable. When in fact, being unidentified simply means that I lack enough knowledge and enough background information about the individual that we're discussing. It doesn't mean that the person is unreliable, but unfortunately, this is the case in most circles. They put the unreliable in the same basket as the unknown, when in fact the two are not necessarily the same thing. Al-Kafi, we're not talking about unreliable individuals. We're not talking about unidentified individuals. We're talking about people studying, spending their entire lives learning the traditions, not just narrating the traditions. They're not just narrators. They are mashyakhat, the product of mashyakhat. They have learned the tradition, its meaning, its context, everything there is to learn about it. And they have then taken those traditions one after the other. They've compiled them. And like I said, the beginning of the chain goes back to what? To the 400 fundamentals. Is there any doubt as to the authentic nature of the 400 fundamentals? The answer is absolutely not. And that's what makes Al-Kafi also equally reliable and authentic. Inshallah, in the subsequent sessions, we'll continue talking about this interesting topic, and then we'll move on into the very core of this series, which is a particular narration of great interest, inshallah, to all of us. I ask the Almighty Allah to bless us all, to enlighten us with the knowledge, and to enlighten our hearts with the great words of wisdom of Ahlul Bayt. Hada walhamdulillah.